All right, all right, all right. What's up, folks? Let's go ahead and get into this live. And this live is to pay tribute, homage, also to be in memory of Latasha Harlins, young lady who I always spoke about since I've been on social media. I don't care what platform I'm on, Facebook, Instagram, the times of MySpace, because this is a person who life will never be forgotten by me. So I always make sure I ensure to do that either around the time of her death for the riots. When I talk about the riots, it's always going to be about Latasha Harlins. Her birthday being this month, this chick would have been 50 years old, and I always label her as the angel of South Central. But on the first, so she's born on New Year's Day. So New Year's Day, 50 years ago, she was born, but her life was tragically taken at the hands of this ill, sick-minded, newly arrived Korean store owner who took it upon herself to assassinate this young lady inside of a store in her community. This is a store inside Latasha Harlins' community. And there's going to be some video clips I want to play because there's also a video, and I want to highlight that to where they go back, because I always wonder about in the aftermath of this tragedy, you never really hear about those who are connected to her, like her family, her friends, her siblings as well. And I think the tragedy may have definitely affected her siblings because you don't hear anything from them. And they were little kids when this happened to their older sister. So you best believe that has affected them. And then on top of that, her siblings also losing, Latasha Harlin and her siblings losing their own parents, both their mother and father being killed. And so this girl stepping in the role as playing, older sister and mother to her younger siblings, due to the fact that I think her father's new girlfriend ended up killing their mother. And then their father ended up losing their life as well. So that's why you see the grandmother on here. So I'm gonna play these clips from this documentary with them where they speak about this tragedy. And then they also speak about this effed up store clerk or the owner of this store and about her behavior towards people. And in fact, when they go into court after this woman is being sentenced, she's found guilty of voluntary manslaughter, supposed to go to prison. And then you get this little trash ass broad. What's his damn judge name? Joyce Carlin. You find her taking upon herself of speaking about what this damn store owner ain't and what she won't reoffend and do, and let this chick walk. And then the other thing with Carlin, and it's crazy, like when you look at the names of the judge and Latasha and their last name is one letter off from being the same damn thing. Latasha Harlins and then this judge, Joyce Carlin. Carlin being an immigrant to the newly arrived person to this country, born in Venezuela. We got this modern day connection, or in today's news, her country, her home country, and the fact the president from where she was born at being kidnapped, her robbing this damn girl of and her family of justice and shit by letting this Korean lady walk. And there have been growing tension amongst Koreans like a mug. Like I say, this shit has always been passionate with me because the thing, me being a South Central kid and the effects of what you've seen, everything going on. That's why it's like South Central is such a unique ass place within inside of America. It ain't a thing of being a show off about being from a city and this and that, but South Central has this real deep history. Outside of this stupid shit, you hear these low life, uneducated motherfuckers that run on Adam 22 and talk gang shit. LA is way deeper than that, way more than that, as well as all of California, the northern part to the southern part. It's a revolutionary city, a city who's always had to take a stand against the ills of government officials, Trump-like people. And in that time, who you had to deal with, the Nixons, the Johnsons, and the goddamn Reagans and Bush, and everything they did to affect this area. And when you look at that, so I want to go into, before going into her story, looking into where our story takes place. Like I say, I'm a person that loves these maps. I love putting up maps, being if you're talking in reference, we're from all different parts of the country, so it's always good to give a reference as to what we're talking about when covering these stories and stuff. So we got the map up here. This incident takes place on 91st and Fig. So most people hear about Fig. All you hear about is the hoes walking up and down the street and all this other shit. I'll go in the chat in a minute. Salute to CJ's. Salute Florida boy. I think I seen Mark Summers in there. Let me run through the chat. I'll read y'all comments in a minute. So that way I don't get thrown off from my talking point. I seen Velocity Cuts in there. Salute to y'all. Salute to those who haven't written in the chat that's out there. Salute to y'all. But I definitely love to dive into the story all the time. So here's our location. So things have changed. So there was no bank in this area. And it's crazy to see a Wells Fargo in there. And in the video I will play to where these banks have been a cause for the decline and damn near extinction of black ownership has been exclusive to banks, and the fact that banks will not give loans out to former black business owners and them selling these establishments off, and then Koreans and them being brought over into this country can easily walk into a bank, get a loan, and where they open the stores here. They're not able to go into white communities and open these same type of businesses. They're allowed to go all throughout South Central as banks begin to deny. Where you come from? You're not from America? Okay, come right on in. Here's all the money you need. So this is what you have happening here. So you had the Empire liquor store that was right here in the corner. Look, a liquor store. So you had that right in the corner. It's no longer here because during the riots they burnt that shit down, looted her shit, burnt it down. She had to go into hiding. But it was some news that she was out there in some part of California with her son, but she definitely had to go under the radar. And they allow her to hide away. But this store right here, where it's Superior, thought it was no, it's another store. I thought it was Numero Uno's, which Numero Uno has a real ill history, a deep history, and a history, and where I'm gonna talk about Carlin because the OG cat on here, who I think like me and the OG was talking and stuff like through a biological standpoint. I think I'm related to him as well. So this is now Superior Grocery Store here at the corner, but it was the Empire Supermarket. And I think the homeboy, one of the homies' brothers was saying that he was living in this neighborhood. I think his mother, somebody lived, or his grandmother, somebody lived in this neighborhood. And he was going over. And then my cousin was telling my cousin Courtney, she was telling me that she went to school with Latasha. She had went to school, and she's talking about when they came back to school that Monday, how tragic and how sad that was. Like, it was an extremely sad day for them. And being that she actually knew Latasha, who was probably a 10th grader, 9th to 10th grader, 15 when this shit happened. And so this would be the location of where this establishment used to be, but everything has changed. And then it's crazy to see there's a bank over here. A lot of this up and down Fig. These apartments weren't there. A lot of this stuff didn't exist here. But this is her neighborhood. Let me reference it to where I'm from in LA as well. So here you have Figueroa. You have the 110 freeway, which separates when you hear people talking about they're from the east side or from the west side of South Central. This freeway right here splits it. It's probably a freeway put in there to also split. No, I don't think it was dealing with a splitting of the race, because I think this freeway was built right around or after when whites started leaving up out of there anyway. And so this is, I thought they should be Fig Elementary School and shit. So this is where she's at. I'm gonna reference it to where I'm at. This is Vermont. I'm off of Normandy in 111th place. So my neighborhood would be right here. Here's Washington High School. My neighborhood is right here. And in reference to that, not far at all. It's like how long would it take to drive there? The drive there would be something like 10 minutes or something. Straight shot up and get there in about 10 minutes. So not a long drive at all. We go to 98, drive up to 98th and Norby, where remember 90, y'all, CJ and Deuce Times know exactly about 98 because we had the place over there. So 97th Street in Norby, but you drive right up to 98, take it all the way up to Fig. And then so it's not far at all. So it's like 15-minute drive from where we grew up at. But all throughout South Central, you start seeing this widespread ownership amongst the Korean store owners and stuff. You start seeing them come in there, and then the same experiences you're gonna hear Latasha and them speak about. you start hearing everybody having these same goddamn experiences inside their communities with them. And then CJ, did you read the story on you read the story on this the old Pepperdine University I was telling you about, where you say Crenshaw Christian Center, and you know why it's called Crenshaw Christian Center, and that shit ain't nowhere close to Crenshaw. Is that once that school closed and it deal with another situation similar to Latasha Harlins. So this where Crenshaw Christian Center was actually Pepperdine University. And then you had an incident with security guard killing the young black dude when these kids in their neighborhood shooting basketball. This damn security guard out there tripping, blasts this kid with a shotgun. And what happens to security guard? Not a goddamn thing. Tensions boil over. What does the university do? That university heads all the way to Malibu. So they got the hell up out of South Central. And Pepperdine ends up way out here in Malibu. So they went looking over the coast. And for a while, Pepperdine tried to ignore that. So this is Pepperdine way out here. So they moved way, way far away from where their bullshit happened, dealing with the death of the young dude at the hands of one of their employees who was never charged for the murder of that dude. And they just got on. And then you had to where Crenshaw Christian Center, the church, where they couldn't handle there was something dealing with their congregation. The size of their congregation was too large. It was too large for the amount of what do you call that with church? Not your guests, but members coming in there. They found this opportunity, moved the what is that? What do they call that big ass dome? The Faith Dome or whatever. And then they end up moving there, but they kept the name, so it's still called Crenshaw Christian Center, even though it's not in Inglewood anymore. So that's a little bit of history on that. But going back into her story, let's go ahead and get into the situation with Latasha Harlins and the loss of her life, which will come. Her death will come a few days after the Rodney King beating comes out. So you had all this turmoil popping off all throughout goddamn Los Angeles. Everything I'm talking about, and me as a kid, man, just watching all this stuff like rapidly just changing. So imagine the people before me. That's what turned so many people. Like when you hear the story of gangsters and shit that come from LA and everybody's intrigued by that, LA turned a lot of these dudes into hogs of what you wouldn't tolerate. You come in there, you didn't tolerate that shit. The white folks, they run the hell up out of there. And then what's the next little scheme and the plan of these little bigoted ass goddamn elected officials, money, capital, connected people is to move in a foreign agent to come and ravage through the damn community while you destroy the people's opportunities, take away their resources, give them over to new arriving ass people. It's some ill shit. And what you think? That's what went back to the comments that Pittsburgh T made yesterday when they were talking about gangs and shit. And what bugs me out with the homie Pittsburgh T and his lack of knowledge on shit and not understanding everything that people have been going through. Gangs ain't just appear out of fucking thin air and what they are here for. It ain't what you see today with these drug ravage, but then even what you see today is a result of all this old shit as well. So I think a lot of people need to take a little bit more time when they think about shit rather than being so quick to ridicule and come up with strong opinions on shit, and then you ignore everything else. And then but going into this shit, and I'll go into chat in a minute after I get through this shit. But her death occurs 13 days after the Rodney King tape comes out. She ended up going into this damn store on March 16th, 1991. She goes in there to purchase, and then this is the crazy thing. I'm gonna play it in a video clip. I don't even want to say it. About when she goes there was incidents that were happening with the kids. Her homegirls who gonna be in this shit and the kids in the area was like they will avoid going to the store because this chick, Sundom, whatever her name is, Do Sung or some shit, she had been aggressive, like hostile towards a lot of these kids in the neighborhood. And even some of the adults, when they walk in there, she didn't pull that same gun on other kids. Like something was wrong with this chick. And so some of the kids is like their parents are telling them don't go to these people's stores. Like I said, when we were kids and we go in them Korean stores, we didn't know what Korean was. We thought everybody Chinese. Either you was white, where you, in my mind, you came from Britain or fucking France. I didn't know whites came from all these other countries till we moved to Evanston out there in Chicago and shit. I know about all these other people come from other places and shit. And so we think so we kids walk in their stores and just like you see in Menace, they follow you around. You ain't never experienced no shit like that in your life. And you best believe they learned that shit from the racist ass whites who allowed them to come into this country. The same one who allowed other groups to flood in here before they get the ignorant people in society to start turning and flipping on these people. But you go in their stores, I'm talking about we little ass kids. It ain't much they gonna lose from the little kid. They watching you, they walking around. They start putting the mirrors up in the store. They never use them to walk in. They be on the aisle opposite of you, following you, telling you to hurry up and shit. This is why in Menace, that shit in Menace ain't no just made up in the script. That was common language for these fools. Hurry up and buy type shit. But then it start being to where they start getting put in their goddamn place because they're in the wrong city trying to act tough with the wrong people. Because LA full of gangsters and they were blowing these motherfuckers' heads off. And then that's the reason this situation with Latasha is the catalyst for what happens after the Rodney King verdict. And then if it was just the Rodney King verdict, they probably wouldn't just lost all their stores had it not been for this trash ass store owner. People probably would have made their aggression more towards the cops. But now you start looking at it like, look at everything else around us. We in our own goddamn communities. And everybody who's earning income from us, because the Mexicans didn't even have stores in the community like that. And then it's crazy is the Koreans run up out of there. Some of them, not all of them. Blacks don't go into the ownership of thing in this community. The loans are given to the next arriving group, and that shit is crazy as fuck when you look at the dynamics of that shit. But drugs would be given to us all day. Like this shit is wild, homie. This shit is wild. So, and then salute to the Cuzzo Deuce. Tom, I see you out there. Asia Math and jumped in here. Patricia Shelton, salute. I'll read the comments in a minute. I want to get through her story real quick in some of these clips. So that's the situation that happened. So March 16th, 1991. Like I say, this year, the New Year's Day, Latasha Harlins would have been 50 fucking years old. She was killed at 15. So about 35 years ago, this situation happens. And this is the reason why when you see them stores burning up let me not call it the LA riots, my teacher who I interview on here, the writer of the book Crips, which his book ends up turning into the movie South Central that y'all all come to love and shit. The Honorable Dr. Donald Bicure, one of the greatest educators in all of America, and I've been privileged to be a student of his and then have the opportunity to even interview him on here, even though the audio wasn't the greatest. But also going into that judge, I was talking about the dude who I interview, who I believe he believed that I'm like biologically his nephew and shit because our last names, and then I think he related to the same people. But he ended up fighting the case to where him and his whole crew. I'm gonna re-upload that shit. I think it should be on my channel, and where he gets taken down, where they about to serve, they getting a ton of years for fucking his involvement in the drug game and shit. But the person who ended up being a connect ended up turning into a dirty agent. Let me go into this before I go into videos. He ended up being a dirty agent with the DA and shit. His name was Danny. What is his name? Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia was also a martial artist who was in the case with he was in the movie. He was in the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon, or one of them. He's a martial artist. He was in that goddamn in that Bruce Lee movie. But this judge who ended up felling Latasha Harlins and her family was an assistant district attorney in old boy case. When he ended up getting his 80-year sentence and shit. She was the not the judge, but she was the assistant DA in his case. And so, it's just so many things that connect to this shit. Yeah, I think his name was Danny Garcia. whatever his name is, but he was in that film and shit. But he was a DA, a dirty DA. He got involved in the drug game along with a bunch of other ones. So that's the only reason the old OG cat name is Jerry Owens. Is only reason why he ended up getting out was when they busted that fool, the dirty DEA agent, and then the rest of his crew ended up getting out. And then, but like I say, I think his interview I did is on my page and shit. But so let me go into this one with Latasha Harlins, and then this one will have her grandmother. It will have her grandmother, her cousin, and some of her friends in here as well. And like I say, you never ever get this side of like what happened with the family, like how people felt when this tragedy happened. The grandmother talks about, when they hear somebody got killed up at the store, and she wondering like, damn, who was it, and this and that, and then she'll end up having to get the call that was her damn granddaughter. And then like a week before that, you was hearing here where one of her friends told her, man, her mother told her not go up there, and Latasha's like, man, F that. Like, I'm gonna go up there anyway. I ain't about to be walking around. So here we go.
My household.
Let me give this documentary. I'm gonna post it in the community section as well. So this one is called The Dope Years. So hold on, give me 1 second. Let me remove this real quick and add it to the community. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Latasha Harlins, family and friends. Let me speak. Like a salute to the young lady who put this piece together. Allison Waite. So Allison Waite, great little piece they did here. This is Latasha Harlins' grandmother, Ruth Harlins. This story is from on this channel called Reality Ends Here. The documentary is called Dope Years. The story of Latasha Harlins. So this is by Allison A. Waite, documentary on racial violence. So let's go into this.
Was Dexter Rakoff, my grandson. Christina Rakoff, my granddaughter.
So
Vester
is Vester is Latasha's brother. And I got some clips. I don't want to play their whole thing. I'm gonna go right into these pieces on here. Shit that heartless ass judge would do this shit. Just heartless, man. These some scumbag ass people. And being the words of this judge, and I'll make sure I play that too. The comments from this judge when this verse going into what was happening in the area as black businesses begin to draw up. So mind these people are their age, born in the 70s and all that other shit. Seeing when black businesses were all throughout the neighborhood, black people lived in the neighborhood, work for themselves, things like that. But as we enter the 90s and shit, these people getting old, selling their businesses. Probably the money ain't coming there. Plus unemployment then rose in the area. So of course, a lot of the older black people couldn't maintain their businesses. They began to sell them. The banks wouldn't give them loans. They're giving it to these damn Koreans coming over here with no credit history, none of that shit. Just come right over here, get the damn loans, which is crazy. And let me go into this. So let me finish playing her part. And I want to go into what this Korean lady that I added on here, what she speaks about this as well. I could meet and interview them because I would love to talk about this shit. Would love to talk about this shit. But let me go into this Korean lady and what she speaks on about. She's an Asian lady, so she'll speak about what was happening within the black communities as well.
Important. Asian Americans were redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods because white people didn't want Asian Americans operating in their neighborhoods and didn't want Asian Americans profiting off of white people. But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities. And as I've said before, as a result of this, Black wealth is essentially paid out twice when it goes to Asian American businesses. Once when the individual pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian American business owner removes the profit from the community. Because usually people open businesses in their own communities, and this is mutually beneficial, where the business owner is making a livelihood off of providing goods and services to their community. And by being a member of the community, they're contributing and they're investing back into the community. This is an ideal situation, and that is not what happens with Asian American businesses operating in Black.
Salute to her. She's speaking truth. And especially when you go back into this situation dealing with this. So let's go back into it. The cousin speaking about Song Jung Ook or whatever her name is and the way that she behaved. Now, the one girl, Latasha Harlins' friend, the way they became friends was Latasha standing up for her because it's common. This girl is speaking about them going to the pool or whatnot. And while she's in the pool swimming, the common thing that happened in pools in our neighborhood is dudes dunking people. I don't know where kids learn this bullshit ass behavior and the fact that nobody else is watching, but the fool's dunking. That was always a thing at Jesse Owens. I didn't play that shit. Plus, I didn't know how to swim. Don't play that dunking shit. Luckily, I never had to deal with people trying to dunk me and shit because I didn't play that shit. But all throughout there, and I'll be sitting back watching my foot like, man, what the hell is wrong with us, man? As a kid, I used to look at this. But then I'll be looking as I get older like, man, these is crack kids or something. Like being in the pool, fools just dunking fools. And if you knew about Jesse Owens' pool back in the day, you knew how hood it was. You knew how often people fought. And throughout all of LA, I remember the time was at the pool at Anthony's Park. Even over there, everybody dunking each other. But they was like, but this girl's telling experience what a dude's dunker than mine. People don't think about you not being able to breathe and all this other shit. Because the mind ain't developed like that to have an understanding of that. But she was like, why these kids and the boys in there dunking her, she's unable to breathe. Latasha in there jumping the pool, stopped the kids from doing that. She punched the dudes out who was doing that, pulled this girl out the pool. And the girl was like she was struggling to even catch her breath. And that's how they end up becoming closer. Plus, she was younger than Latasha, more like Latasha's younger cousin, the one who was speaking, Shanice. She was more her age. But then Latasha goes back to about Latasha filling this role of being more motherly like, being that she had to step up for her younger siblings because of her mother's death. And that's why she ended up being raised by her grandma. That's why during her trial, you never saw anything about a parent. In the newspaper, they talked about an aunt, but never a mother or father because they were both dead. And that was happened with a lot of kids being raised by their grandparents during this time. Like I say, you can't just talk shit about young kids from the inner city and you ain't got your knowledge all the way up on what they were faced with. Even this Asian lady who just spoke, she knows the goddamn deal. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people fake like they don't know what the history on shit is. Or the history gets lost. As time moves on, the history gets lost, and some people just play ignorant to shit. But let's continue on.
I walk with my mother
I'm big
too.
on history, so that's why I like diving in these topics, talking this shit. Plus, I paid attention to shit, grew up around elder people, had gangster ass parents who are a blessing in life to me, being who they were, being older, coming from an older period in time, and then the people in the neighborhood. Man, I was blessed to be around that time. You talking about what's that like the Outlier book? Just being born in the right time, the right place. Mess up because this is where it gets real. So this gonna go leading into the death of Latasha Harlins. This girl gonna get into the lead up right into her death. And what she was telling her, like, don't go back to this lady's store because what this lady does to her. She almost became the first victim of this sick ass lady. Like, this shit is cold blooded shit. And I wondered, in the court, did they let these people in there speak about how effed up this goddamn, or did the judge set the rules in her court? Nah, that's irrelevant. We don't want to hear what this lady used to do. And like, come on, man.
Everybody's
Kids got used to this lady doing that punk ass shit. It's cold. So it shows the history of this foul ass broad. And then this punk ass judge would do this whole ass shit that she ended up doing. So let me go into this other video dealing with what happened with the surveillance. But peep this shit. So like she said, this almost happened to this girl, Tavi. Tavi almost becomes a victim to the store owner. So this is the actual event here.
Few moments of 15-year-old Latasha Harlins' life. Picks the last few moments of 15-year-old Latasha Harlins' life.
Store owner Soonja Du thought 15-year-old Latasha Harlins was going to steal some orange juice.
And then they talking about thought she was gonna steal. That lady ain't think none of that fucking shit. Lady, it got something going on. Don't like black motherfuckers, just looking to start some shit. Probably frustrated with her damn husband or some shit.
She had the money in her hand. You could see the money in the videotape. And the suspect grabbed the backpack, and there became a physical altercation over the backpack. And as our victim turned to walk away from the scene, the suspect raised a weapon and shot the victim in the back of the head.
Look, she started walking out the store. And that lady did that shit. Like you say, this lady had been doing that shit to these kids over there. And a lot of them used to be doing this kind of shit. A lot of them Korean store owners were doing this kind of shit.
Latasha was an A student, honor roll student. She got money every week for her allowance, so she did not have to steal.
Honor roll student. So imagine what she'd be 50 years old. Imagine what this girl could have been. She probably would have been a goddamn attorney, something special. Like, come on, man. And this lady did not pay her debt to society after doing that shit.
Orange juice.
The store clerk, a Korean woman, is now in jail. The black community is outraged over the killing. The NAACP is demanding the clerk.
So that's what the area looked like. You see that? So that's what the store where we went on the block, seen what was in that location. Location looked totally different than what you see here. So that was her store.
Stop killing our children. We want justice.
Here we go. So this is the whole ass judge. Watch this shit.
Would the court please read the verdict? Title of court and cause. We, the jury, in the above titled action, find the defendant, Soonja Du, guilty of voluntary manslaughter.
So they find her guilty. She guilty.
It is not a time for rhetoric.
Repeat this shit.
Which serves no purpose other than to fuel the fire. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire that's already burning. It is my opinion that Mrs. Du is not a danger to the community.
Listen to this bitch.
And that she is not going to reoffend.
I know a criminal when I see one. I know a person who presents a danger to the community when I see one. When I don't, I treat that person as something other than that.
Man, that shit infuriates the fuck out of me, homie.
She got away with murder.
I damn sure hope so, that there would be all the hell in the black community.
Somebody would care.
Stand up and see this insanity.
That shit infuriates the fuck out. Even to this day.
Justly treated by the
that fucking judge need her fucking ass beat. That she will make such a ill ass statement like that, knowing what the fuck she just watched in that damn video. That lady is a vicious ass fucking criminal. The fact that they probably ignored these other people talking, even when they was coming to the store, Jung-un in their line talking about she acted in self-defense. She was worried. And so this old lying ass fucking store owner whose statements are fucking her statements are fucking debunked by the damn surveillance footage. So she clearly lying. How vicious she is. She in there having a little tussle with a damn teenager, a minor, little ass kid. And they swinging over the counter. This girl going walked out. She grabbing a gun to shoot. That girl ain't fucking hold her at a gunpoint. That girl ain't try to go in her register. They fighting over $1.10 orange juice, which is crazy looking at. That same orange juice probably like $4 or $5 today. But over $1, I think what they said the orange juice was $1. That orange juice like $1.35 or some shit. And she got the right to pull a gun, but this old funky ass judge talking about she know what a criminal is. Her little silver spooned fed ass. This girl come from a little wealthy immigrant ass background and would say some shit like that and let this lady just walk scot-free. Community said F that. They torched her goddamn store. And so this is before the verdict. So that this verdict comes out in, when did this one come out? This one came out in November. So this one happens in November. You still have where people are more like paying more of attention to, because when this verdict came out, I don't remember much being made of that shit, because Rodney King is the one that kind of took the place of Latasha Harlins' story. The Rodney King shit ended up being more like global news than Latasha Harlins, who lost her fucking life. And it shows when people come back, like, man, there's when it comes to the mainstream white media, there's no care that's given towards the loss of a black female's life and shit. And there's been some old John Benet Ramsey looking ass little girl who this chick did that shit to. It'd be all over fucking every news outlet. But the Rodney King one took a lot of attention away from that shit that I don't even remember hearing much from the verdict on this one. The Rodney King shit, that shit stood out. But what really ignited everything was after that verdict letting them cops go off, the fact that this whole ass judge in one of the worst criminal court decisions in probably US history, in this case, were both of these involving black victims and then non-black suspects to just walk free as if they did no wrong, like they had a right to take life and beat the ass of a person damn near halfway to death. It was cool to do that, man. People in California say, hell no. Nah. We ain't gonna let that shit ride. Man, they start torching these food stores. And that's when you look in Koreatown, they start showing the Koreans like they start standing up for their story. They're on top of the roofs with guns and shit. Don't worry, you'll get off them roofs when everything comes down. You still got to go in your store. And if we wanted to, we'd go in there and you would no longer exist in that motherfucker. And that was the thing they were faced with. And it'd be crazy. They would lose family members and still maintain these stores. Because guess what? They can't go to the white community with these stores. They'll be pressed out or none of their business will be solicited by the people in that community and shit. But in our community, we solicit this shit, this and that. Now, they have gotten better with that shit. It's them first generation motherfuckers. It's always a thing with immigrant class of people. They come over thinking they're better than you based on what bigots who allow them to come over here start feeding into their minds. Their old ways from their old scumbag countries, along with what they feed from their bullshit ass religions. That's why I be knocking religion now, because religion spews out a lot of that old racist ass shit. And it's so easy to pass that along. You'll curse people, what these books that they written talks about and shit. But let's get back into it. So that's the judgment. So let's go into the day. So that girl talking about what she's telling Latasha, don't go up there. Her mother told her, we're gonna go to a different store. We ain't going to that one. Here we go. Aggressive ass lady, man. Look at this ignorant ass lady. And this judge watched this shit. The judge watched this ignorant ass bitch. Man, and this judge still alive.
Olive oranges. She assumed that she was trying to steal it, but Latasha had the money in her
I hope
hand.
this shit eat that judge the fuck up to this day. I hope God curses this judge's health with some old uncurable shit. And I'm going to celebrate the day when this judge is no longer in existence. I can't wait till the news come out about this funky ass judge. Look at the pain. Look at the pain in the granny. This shit got to be over 30 years and the granny's still. But that's her child, so it's going to always hurt this lady. And I'm shocked the granny is aged very fucking well. This granny is aged very, very well. Oh man, hold on. Let me pause that shit, man. I don't be doing no crying and shit. All right, hold on. All right, let's go. Wait, where I'm at. Hold on. Man, damn, man, you gonna make me shed a motherfucking tear watching that shit, man. God damn it. Oh man, they should have stumped this broad the fuck out. Oh man. Ain't no way, man. These funky mother. All right, we'll be back in a second. Let me see. All right, folks, we back. We back. Man, all right, yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like playing clips. But I wanted to play that. I just wanted to highlight that while I'm live to even just get, the opinions of the family, and you see the hurt. You see the hurt on the family members' faces, man. Hear it in their voices. It's shown on their damn faces. The grandmother, the friend, and the cousin. And then everything that they detail of what's going on. If you take a trip back into the early 90s, the dynamics of race within these damn communities, and is our community being taken away from us through the means of economics and shit, business loans. And like the cousin said, when she was growing up, this man owned this store, they own that store, and then they sold it. Korean come here, Korean come here. You listen to the Asian lady speak, how they come here, they walk in, get loans. They can't take these loans and open stores in white communities. They come right to the black communities, which are being depressed, economically depressed, and the removal of blacks' ability to keep wealth within their own community. We're going to drive this wealth out here to selected areas. We're going to drive it out. And this is one of the factors in the way they do it. Whites can't do it themselves, so they go through other little strategic moves, other economics, other war. This is the war games that a lot of people who look like us are faced with, and the reason why reparations talks are always brought up. Let me go into the chat. Salute to everybody out there. Salute. Like I said, that her story always, like, man, down there bring a tear to my goddamn eye because it's foul. It's foul. It's effed up. And then even listen to her friend speak about how it hurts her friend because she was like, she told her not to go back up there. Like, just avoid going to this lady's store. Like, just don't go up there. And then it's almost like Latasha revolutionary mindset. Like, why I gotta run from this lady? This lady over here. Like, F that. And then Velocity Cuss says, Mark Summers says, enter the chat. And then CJ in the building, salute. He says, I got a cold ass Rodney King shirt. Says with that image of of his face beat up. Says the front says LAPD says we treat you like a king. Man, like all the kings, Rodney King, Martin Luther King. And if Velocity Cuss says, wouldn't be surprised if son John Doe says it's calling his mother-in-law. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Kind of sellout Fred is. And the CJ saying salute. And the Florida boy says Tupac spoke about her. I'm glad you brought that shit up. I'm glad you brought up Tupac. Because that's the other thing that bugs the shit out of me. Is Tupac is referenced her in a number of songs. He probably got like 4 or 5 songs of speaking on Latasha Harlins. He speak on Yummy Sandiford, all of that shit. And matter of fact, it's crazy because that's the year I was in Chicago when that Yummy shit came up. He speaks about that. He speaks about Latasha. He speaks about what's going on within the community. And plus, Tupac comes from this revolutionary background, being who his mother is. And the fact that this happens to Latasha, don't no other rappers fucking speak about her, especially during the 90s when all that shit is going on in LA. No other rappers speak about the Latasha Harlins situation. None of them speak none of that tough guy shit. None of them acknowledge her. Her history be getting ignored. And it'd be like, man, these dudes just ain't got social consciousness nowhere in their spirit. Just talk a bunch of hoe ass shit. But I'm glad you brought up Tupac. I'm glad you brought that shit up. Since Tupac was such a revolutionary, but Tupac had his own ignorance as well. Wanted to be on street shit as well. Wish he would stay solely with the revolutionary side of shit, political revolutionary, social revolutionary, all that shit. And he says, white man's world, keep your head up. She in a number of goddamn. So I probably have to Google search that shit, and where Pac referenced Latasha Harlins, along with even with Yummy Samsford. And then Mark Summers says, when did you become anti-immigrant? I'm not anti-immigrant at all. And this is why I'm glad when y'all ignorant ass people who have low comprehension speak on that shit. But if I make opinions on some immigrants, then it is to speak about the ill-sighted ignorance of immigrants who arrived in here. But to be anti-immigrant, you don't see me out here supporting ICE and talking about deporting people. I don't do none of that shit. So I don't know where if I was talking that shit, I'd be telling them to get you out of here because you are an immigrant. The hell you talking about? Florida Boy says Tupac made a song about Latasha, and then Florida Boy says, really? Steam from Buzz says, I remember watching the surveillance video, says a couple of years back, says watching Latasha body drop was heartbreaking. She died instantly. As soon as that bullet hit her, she was gone. That shit is foul. Died right in that whole ass lady's store. And guess what? Guess what? If the community didn't burn that store down, guess what? They would have returned to work. If they had not burned that store down, that lady and her family be owning that store in that same community now. Trust me. That's how heartless these motherfuckers are. Even when they lose their family members in these stores, they still own these mugs. Unless they get forced out, unless they don't own the building or can't afford rent, as they skyrocket the properties because some other corporation wants to come into the area and buy up everything. But those people will still have owned that store if the people in there didn't burn that shit down and had the Rodney King verdict not come back the way that it came back. That's how cold this shit is. Now, how much of a whore that damn judge is. And then Mark Summers says, why would you want to watch that Stinging from Above? And then Jashawn says, RIP Latasha, says they put a mural up on a mural up of her in 2021. Salute. Yeah, that was over in her neighborhood. They put that up at a park, the playground named after her. Yeah, they put a playground named up after her. I was watching a video of one dude. I always watch this dude channel because he do like crime stories. He go to like grave sites called Lamont at Large. He did this video with a guy, some white guy. I should find his channel because the same white guy went into the area where Emmett Till. He did a documentary on Emmett Till when right in the neighborhood, the same location. They retraced the steps of everywhere in which the Emmett Till story was. They went to Latasha Harlins' grave site in their video where they were covering this story as well. And what's this white dude's channel? Let me find it real quick. It'll pop on. But I always watch the other dude. I watched Lamont at Large channel, and years back I did watch the one he did on Emmett Till. That one was very good. The Emmett Till one was extremely good. Oh, let me find this white guy's channel real quick. But yeah, I would love to find out where the hell this Sim Jong Un chick is at, and whether she probably still living as well. But she's a total piece of shit, real total heartless piece of shit. Wait, what's the name of this channel? This channel should be coming up. Hold on, here we go. It's called this is Mobile Instincts. That's the name of it. Yeah, Mobile Instinct went there. Mobile Instinct has one that he's done on the location of what Emmett Till situation ended up happening. That one was pretty good where they retraced the steps, and then he also there with the cat Lamont at Large, who does very good content on here as well. So this is that channel. They did theirs with Latasha Harlins. They went to her grave site. The grave site that I think she at the same site that Bubba is at. And that same funeral, because they say it's in Santa Fe Springs, but and you look at it, that cemetery is not well maintained. I think that's the same cemetery where, because the one Bubba was at was the same cemetery that came up they came up on a scandal. They were up there digging up bodies and then reselling the damn same grave sites and putting other bodies on top of it. So here's the LA, the Latasha Harlins one they did. They did one on the LA riots, and the Emmett Till one is probably some years back. But the little mixed race dude right there that's with him, that's Lamont at large. He got real good content. But they cleaned up her grave site because the grave site had like calcium buildup on it. You can barely see over it. So they went about cleaning it up. Clean up. I think the dude was talking about even paying to get her a new headstone and stuff. But the cemetery ain't a well maintained cemetery neither. And then steering from above says the Mark, and I don't know I don't know if he's saying his last name or it's disrespect to him. Agent Mappin building salute. Lacey Cuss says thought you was going to do a live on the 1 year, says on the 1 year of LA fires, and the POS number 47 says trying to rewrite history on J6. Now, Latasha Harlins was more important to me than that. She was way more important to me than that. As simple as that. Trump is a punk, and I can't wait to see the worst for between Trump and this judge involved in this case. And then Asia Mass says Figueroa Street, they're laughing, don't know what he's laughing at. And then Deuce Time in the building, salute. And then CJ says, fun fact, says the 110 freeway says America's very first freeway. Is it? Let me read that. Let's check that history out. Let's check out the 110 freeway. Let's check that out. I wouldn't be surprised being LA is a hub for vehicle and traffic and shit. Let's check that one out. Let me see. 1 second. Hold on, let me see. 110. Oh, wait, no, not highway. 110 freeway. Let's check this history out. And you know who be having a dope ass show? He be doing LA in a minute. It's that one fool got a show on there. But it was a while ago. I had to check that fool about some facts he put out where he was trying to give credit about LA food trucks and trying to give credit to some other people. He's trying to credit some Asian dude. And I had to correct his ass on that shit. And but I like his channel, but it's like, nah, you ain't about to rewrite history and try to give other racial groups who you see now popularizing this shit now like they were the first ones to create that shit. Let me see. Oh damn. Wait, let me see. 110 freeway in LA. Let me see. All right, let me see if this gives me history on it. Hold on, let's go. Because I want to pull it on the screen. So Los Angeles 110 segment, boom, boom, boom. Let me see if they give some history on that. Let's go. Let me pop this on the screen. Hold on, let's go into the 110 freeway. That's the freeway I was showing on there earlier. And let me see, 110. It says right California Highway, boom, boom, boom. Network consisting. Let's see. Yeah, see, they ain't giving a history on that. But no, so that I'll definitely could agree with that. I don't disagree on that one. Oh, here we go. Here go history. It says 110. So in 1924, it says major traffic plans for Los Angeles. Says a widening of Figueroa and San Pedro as a good road. Says to the port of Los Angeles was proposed. Progress was slow, and in 1933, says the state legislature added the entire length of the state highway system. Says Route 165. Let me go. It says the entire length of Route 165 became Route 11, 1934. Let's get through some of this. Boom, boom, boom. Construction of the freeway to San Pedro, which is where the port is, says it was much slower. Says despite having been in the earliest plans for CJ says, let me see. It says website. Hold on, let me click this real quick. Let me see. First freeway built in the U.S. Hold on, let me see. Oh, you said it's on Instagram. Hold on. All right, well, let me see. From October. All right, let me see if I can find that. It says Secret Los Angeles. Well, hold on, let me see what this article says, if it shows it. It says boom, 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 remain, da, da, da. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I wish they put this shit at the top. These fools going into the whole goddamn history on it. Well, I'm gonna probably go over. All right, let me go over to Instagram. Give me 1 second, and I'll go right back into the chat. And then at the end of this video, I know I'm gonna have to clip some of that. I'm gonna have to clip some of that damn video out from, excuse me, from the documentary that got me hit on that shit. Or they may be cool after it uploads, so I'll see. So the live won't be up for a second, as I had to take that bullshit out of here. I got to take the. Well, let me pick my words more carefully. I ain't there about to call that documentary bullshit. Let me see. Here we go. Here. Give me 1 second to pull this up real quick. Let me see. This article is back from October. So let me see. It's called The First Freeway Built in the U.S. It's right here in Los Angeles. Give me 1 second to pull that up. Let me see. This channel probably got a lot of videos or some shit. Let me see where I'm at. And that's only December. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, LA got some unique history, but I like South Central history better. Let me see. Should be coming up. So this one CJ sent says in the bio says the 110 freeway construction started in 1938 and officially opened December 30th, 1940. Says it has largely remained unchanged over the last 85 years. Says perhaps that explains that awful merge entry. Yeah, the merges on the 110 is horrible. The 110 and the fucking 10 are horrible. So did you know the Aurora Sector Parkway says the first the first freeway ever built in the United States. And then let me see. No, I can't do the YouTube shit. Yeah, on that backup channel I do it. He says here's a video says you can check out. No, I ain't going on that backup channel. I don't mind playing the videos. That's why I'm always telling them what just happened, me getting hit with those videos. Anytime I pull that shit up, that's what be messing me up from getting all them strikes on shit like that. Let me see. But I shouldn't have. I'm pretty sure when I upload it, they'll probably allow me to use some of that video and shit. Yeah, I shouldn't have gotten a strike on that one. Let me see. Entrance of the word. So that's showing the 110 there. Yeah, the 110. A lot of those free. Yeah, you can still see how old that shit is. The 110, the 10, right near the 110 in downtown is horrible. Let me see. Then it's still in November. That video you sent is from. Hold on. Let me see. That is from October. So let me see. November. Hold on. But we believe that shit. Hold on. I'm having a hard time finding the video. Let me see. All right, shit. Send it to me on Instagram. Let me see. Or did you send it to me? Hold on. Let me check, see if you sent it on Instagram. No. Oh, that fool Makita hit me up. Let me go back and check. Oh, I'm fucked up. Damn. And then Asian Math says we had a Mark Twain library also, says back in the 80s. And the CJ says, oh no, says I had to watch that video, says I totally forgot about it. And talk about the Pepperdine University one in LA. Put your shelter in the building, salute. And the CJ says we had a command post at the Malibu Pepperdine campus, says during the Palisades fire. And then that campus is probably nice as hell. I was thinking earlier, I know I had went to Pepperdine for some shit. I can't remember what I went to Pepperdine. I don't know if I rode with a broad to go out to Pepperdine, but I remember seeing that campus. And then in the Diamond Newman in the building salute, he says, "Did you see what is that? Did I see Jalick says on no jumper says she got an argument?" I don't watch that bullshit, bro. And then CJ says, "I remember they used to dunk us. They used to dunk us at Jesse Owens' pool. Says I used to be about to die too." Yeah, they said, man, that'd be the dumbest shit. Like with our pools in the cities where you go to these pools, and the one thing kids know how to do is commit damn near a juvenile murder and shit. Just be dunking people. Like it ain't no swimming at our pools. It ain't no swim. I used to be trying to learn how to swim, but used to be, if the minute you go to try to swim, one of these idiotic kids will dunk your head under there. So all at our pools would be a bunch of little stupid shit. People running, diving. They say don't run. Kids ain't gonna listen. Ain't no parents there. Ain't nobody else to watch them. You can't correct somebody else's kid without a punk ass adult. Don't talk to my kid like that and all that kind of crap. That the minute if you go doing this, somebody get that fool. You in there doing all this shit like, man, can't stand these fools, man. What the hell wrong with y'all, man? Fools diving and jumping on people and like, man, fucking idiotic shit. That's why I hate dumb shit. Especially kids. Like I watch kids be wanting to race and play, and they all gotta run and bump each other. Man, I just hated dumb shit all throughout life, man. And then as we get older, we realize how I realize how dumb shit has set us back, just being dumb. And then Patricia Shelton, and they're looking on in horror about the Latasha Harlins things. Lysica says Judge gave Compton ass Terry says a light sentence too. Who is Compton Terry? Wait, Compton Terry, the skateboarding dude, the dude who ended up getting he ended up stabbing somebody. Yeah, that fool wasn't a TK or some shit, whatever he went. I think CJ used to, when CJ was on that skateboarding. Ain't that who that is, CJ? That dude. I thought he was from Long Beach. But how did Compton Terry blow up? He used to be with, how did Compton Terry blow up? He was on a TV show or something, right? And then CJ says they suspended it. Oh yeah, he's talking about when they suspended the stream. And then they said in bet. And then Bougie Barbie says, "Hey everybody." And then Jashawn says you know about George Stinney Ridge? Yeah, that's the little kid who they think he the youngest. Yeah, he is the youngest. I think that's George King. You talking about that kid? He's the youngest person ever to be executed. Fucking little kid. And then the crazy shit, I think they commuted his sentence. Kid was like, how old was that kid? Hold on, let me put that shit in. Kid was like fucking 12 years old or some shit. And if he did kill somebody, probably some old slave master ass fool. Hold on, let me see. George Stinney. I think that's exactly who that is. Is that, yep, that's him. Yeah, the youngest kid they executed. He was 14. 14. And what state is that? South Carolina. Executed this kid. Oh, let me put his story on because I think they commuted his damn sentence. Oh, here he is. And you know, I never ever find and now I'm glad that you brought it up because now I can look at what he was even charged for. So George Stinney, this happened during World War II. So he's born in 1929. He only gets 14 years of his life. So this during the last year of World War II. So the country is at war, this and that. So these African American boy says he was wrongfully executed. So yeah, so that's why they commuted shit probably 100 years later. He's wrongly executed at the age of 14 after being convicted during an unfair trial, says for the murder of two white girls, 11-year-old Betty Jones. And I best believe these girls probably killed by their own father and shit. Or an uncle. Says that it's in the hometown of Kalu. Says Kalu, South Carolina. Let me look at the racial makeup of Kalu. Let me go down here. So tiny ass town even today. There only 420 something people. So let me go into. So let me see their main crop. I seen something dealing with cotton and shit. Let me go. They only got a demographic information. The town is so goddamn small. It's 402 people. So Presley Harvin III, a punter for the Steelers. Black food. So the town might be mostly black. Let me see. Let me see if they show the county this in. This probably give a wider picture of what the area is like. So it's a mill town, so wood milling shit. Let me see. Yeah, that's some foul shit. But let me go back to his story. So he was wrongly convicted of these murders. Did they find out who did it? Says he was tried, convicted, and sentenced in one damn day. Man, everybody involved in this shit should have their lives taken. This is what happened when you got a system that is effed up, wrong people in it. So he was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death on a single day in April of 1940. Well, let me make sure is that his date. No, okay, all this happened in one day. Tried, convicted, sentenced on April 1944. Says, and then executed by electric chair. What is that? April, May. So 2 months later, they execute this young kid. Says that the Governor Orland D. Johnston says refused to grant him clemency. So this is the other sick bastard. Let me see him. He probably got a lot of racial controversial shit. This is why that y'all people bug me with their fucking ignorance in politics. Bugs the fuck out of me. Let me see how bad he died, which should be what happens to that judge. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. He died fucking, he shit out a big ass blood clot and his heart exploded or something. All right, so they don't got nothing on him. So let me see. Says a re-examination of city case begins. So they wait almost 80 damn years to re-examine his case, 60 damn years to re-examine his shit. And several individuals in the Northeastern University School of Law saw a judicial review. Says Stinney murder conviction was vacated in 2014. See, that's what I thought I remember hearing that shit. Like, the fuck you gonna vacate? A nigga already dead. And then let me see. My daughter texted me. Hold on. No. Could you please? Okay. Okay, they want me to make them food for tomorrow. All right. But yeah, so let me see. So who did they find out who did it? Says vacate in 2014 says with his South Carolina court ruling that he had not received a fair trial, says, and was thus wrongfully executed. So are you gonna vacate the shit and bring him back to life? Man, what the hell you gonna do with that? Like, man, come on, man. You talking about ill stuff. You best to learn what America is, and you only learn it through hearing Black history. And y'all fools still rock with Trump with your whole ass. Niggas dumb out here, homie. Fools want to repaint history and talk about this shit. Don't matter about white folks. This shit ain't about white people's fucking tears and critical race theory hurting their feelings and shit. It's American history. It says was vacated in 2014 since the South Carolina court ruling that he had not received fair trial, says, and was thus wrongfully executed. Stinney is the youngest American, says, with an exact birthday confirmed to be, says, to be both sentenced to death and executed in the 20th century. Fool was 14 years old. Little dude, 5'1", 90 pounds. So did they figure out who the hell did it? His father worked in the town sawmill. And then imagine the father dealing with that shit. This is white and black neighborhood, says we're separated by the railroad. That's a common segregating thing to divide the lines. Either use a rail system or a highway. It says given segregated schools and churches for whites and black residents, says there was limited interaction between them. So that's why it makes no sense of what happened with these girls. So let me see. Do they do in the reopening an investigation? They find out who did this shit. So here go alternate suspect. Let me see. I guarantee it's a relative of these girls. Since Stinney's exoneration, says George Washington Burke, says the son of a wealthy white businessman, George Burke Sr., says has been the subject of speculation as a possible suspect for the murders. George Burke Jr. died 2 to 3 years after the murders of the two girls in 1947 at the age of 29. Stenny's mother had worked for the Burke family for a brief period. Stenny's sister recalled that her mother had once come home saying that Burke Sr. had made advances to her. Says, and her father had warned their mother, says to no longer go back. Stenny's sister claimed to have heard that Burke boy had framed Stenny because their mother didn't want to give it up. Says Burke Seniors conducted an initial search for the girls and was the owner of the territory behind the Green Hills Baptist Church where the girls' bodies were found. This white dude did that shit. Says he was also the foreman of the grand jury. Says that indicted Stenny. Wow. Conflict of major interest. Says and has been accused of helping steer the blame off of his son and onto Stenny. And that's why his son only lived for 2 more years before his ass died. Says 2 elderly women in Ocala says recall that Burke Jr. was known as womanizer and for committing theft and getting away with it. Yeah, that's exactly who did it. That's cold-blooded shit. That's cold-blooded shit. And it goes right back in Latasha Harlins' story about the lacking in justice and all type of stuff. And then Steph says Be Well says salute to the chat. And he says YouTube always says clipping niggas fam. No, I don't be tripping off of that. I should have known what they were gonna do anyway. I was running the risk of it. It ain't no YouTube. I should know what the rules. That's why I try not to play videos on here, but I have to play the Latasha Harlin one. I'll just end up clipping it out or see what they do. And then Steph says, but salute, says they still allow the homie to always be right. And then Jashawn says, my homie from Rialto says, went to Pepperdine, says that camp is nice, nice fuck. Says no lie, says I see why bro went there. And then CJ says, yeah, says Terry Kennedy says it's from Long Beach. And he said they gave him the Compton as Terry moniker on that show. But what was the show? What was the show he was on? Because I remember he blew up on some show. Whose show was that? Was that Rob and Black show? And then Bougie says 12 or 13, talking about George Stenny. And then Steph says TK still a hero of mine, says mental illness for sure. Says he got into a fight up in Illinois' upcoming skateboarder, or he met skateboarder. Says he got into it. Says TK smacked him and he fell backwards and hit his head and he died. I thought he stabbed somebody. That's what I thought happened with TK. I thought he ended up stabbing a dude. And then, but he shouldn't went to jail. That should be self-defense. And Jashawn says, nah, says they lied on him. And then CJ says, but yeah, says TK got out, says he hit a dude with his skateboard, and he later died from his injury. So it wasn't technically a murder charge. Says I think they hit him with some type of manslaughter. And then Jashawn says, yeah, in 2014. And then Steph says, right. He's saying right to you, CJ. And then Steph says I was hurt when that happened. When I'm doing it, shit, if he defended, so he got a right to defend him. A fool ought to learn to leave a motherfucker alone when they got a damn board, a knife, a bat. That's why I be looking at people. I was watching this video and it's just showing how stupid people are. That's why I like posting that kind of shit. Because it just shows in how dumb people are and how people can avoid situations. Like with some girl, and then it's crazy with the employee. She go in there starting some shit, they having beef and shit. And she walk up on this girl. This girl done brought her a goddamn gun to work. Pulls this gun out. This girl walks around the corner testing this girl. Still walking towards her. Like she lucky that girl didn't have the heart to just blast her ass. And then it's like another thing. It's like, why are you bringing a gun to work? But no, I think people should. Because work could be dangerous for a lot of people. Shit, the hell with that. But the fact this lady wanted to test on whether or not this person is shooting. And I see a lot of people doing that, mainly drunks, who already, the alcohol turns them into a superhero and they want to just test and fight at anything, and somebody got a gun pulled on them. And then they be thinking these people trying to test a person are really calling them out like you're a hoe. And then these people let off lead into their stupid asses. Or seeing people getting into it with people in cars. I never understood this shit. When people have disputes, it can be over a parking spot, They want to stop a car from moving, then they go to stand in front of the car like they stupid asses hold enough weight to stop a car from moving. And some people are just getting rage. That little rage meter is building up, and they press that gas and run over your ass. And I look at these videos and I be like, that's what the dumbass get. Like being a stupid ass, standing in front of a goddamn car like a total idiot. And that'd be the thing. A lot of people just lack common sense. They try to think off of emotions. They are highly emotional, raging in emotions, and they get out here and do dumb shit. You're gonna step in front of a goddamn car like a damn fool. Even the people who doing them damn protests on freeways and shit. All it's gonna take is a person who don't give a damn about your protest pissing them off, creating traffic, and they ain't gonna take it no more. They ain't about to blast through that shit. I wouldn't dare be on no damn protest shit. I stand up against shit, but I even about to see me walking around picket lines, protesting people, agitating and shit. And it says, since I was hurt, says when that happened, I guess talking about TK. I mean, I got something in my goddamn eye, man. Eye is burning, man. And then CJ says, and Steph says, yeah, it says TK still legend. It says definitely was an influence. Says when I was coming up, says he says his mind is gone though. Oh, he messed up. He don't tell me he on drugs and shit. And then Bougie says, so he like Kevin McCall and shit then. And then Bougie says exactly, says probably they're probably on daddies or somebody talking about the George Stinney case. And then Steph says, TK says, will always step, says will always step, says, was about that business. Says, I remember he caught someone stealing in the store, says, and bro stepped to him so hard, says bandits ran away. He called the thieves bandits. And then Steph says, pray for him, says his wife and daughter, says the CJ. Go Young DJ says there's a story in New York, says where police shot and killed a kid, says that was walking with his stepdad. What was happening with that? Is it on body cam? Because that's why I'm glad it's a lot of cameras and shit everywhere. Because it brings it brings everything that's brought, I guess it answers everything that's brought to question on shit. From the body cam shit to even cameras up there. And judges and juries have to start learning to go with what's on camera. Stop saying, well, we don't know what happened before the footage was there. Just like the Latasha Harlins shit. The camera ain't gonna lie to you. Just like the Rodney King shit. The camera ain't gonna lie to you. Get these verdicts right. Make the decisions right. And then Jashawn says his family pushed for is the only reason, or you meant it. You forgot the word it. Says his family pushed for it. Says, and it's the only reason why it was vacated. But it does nothing for the kid. Like, it's so dumb to vacate shit like decades down the line. Or what do you get? Is it now? What does a vacating shit mean? Does the family, surviving relatives get to go after the state or whatever and sue the fuck out of them or something? Is that what it opens up? And then Jashawn says, no, it's unsolved since till this day. And he says, look at what I sent. Now y'all gotta send that shit on here. I don't like going into my phone and be searching shit while I'm live and shit. I don't like doing that shit. And he says, Sadie Dukes says George City threatened to kill me. Oh, this from an old white lady talking about this kid threatening to kill her. Man, I ain't about to buy into that shit from that white lady. And instead says the Rob Dyrdek show. Oh, that's the dude from Rob and Black. And then CJ says he was on Viva La Bam. Says when he got that nickname, the Steph. And he says, oh yes, my bad. And then he says, what did I say? Says okay. Says okay and shit. Says bro. Says all them jackass dudes says are gone. Now Johnny Knoxville. I just recently seen Johnny Knoxville on some shit. And then and that fool who I thought would be dead, that fool's still alive. What's his name? Steve-O and shit. That fool's still alive. The only Steve-O that died, ain't that what Big Sad homeboy name? Wasn't Big Sad homeboy named Steve-O? Instead of the jackass Steve-O died, that dude done died. And then Steph says, nah, says mental illness, bro, says was hurting inside. What you talking about? Mental illness is hurting. Says talking to you talking about Terry TK. And then Ben Israel in the building. Salute crazy ass Ben. Says Shalom. Says what do you really stand up for, Reg? stand up for shit that's right, what's intelligent, what's smart, stand up against what's wrong and ignorant and stupid. And then Steph says he in there laughing, says everyone believes in videos. And then Steph says Cameron ain't gonna lie. Shit, you better go ask Rodney King and them and shit. The Latasha Harlins story we just did. And you know what was ill about the Rodney King shit? Is the fact that he ended up marrying one of the people on the fucking jury, and then he ends up dying as their relationship falls apart. And it's suspect as hell about his death and whether or not that lady's connected to that shit. But she'll never get charged. And then she probably walked away with whatever money he had left, even if he didn't spend it all. And then Goyan DJ says, look up Clifford Glover. And then Jashawn says they wanted to overturn the conviction. The conviction says clear his name, the family. Man, that shit don't change shit. Them fools better break money off of that for that fool and shit. Let me see. He said that was who was that? Clifford Glover. Let me see. Who was Clifford Glover? Clifford Glover. Oh, wait a minute. I think I know exactly who this dude is. Hold on. Clifford Glover. Is that fool out of New Orleans? Oh, wait, nah. He's a 10-year-old African-American boy. Says he was fatally shot. Oh, this somebody shot in New York. Hold on. Damn, a 10-year-old. That's that old wicked-ass NYPD, I bet. Let me see. So Clifford Glover says was a 10-year-old black boy, says, who was fatally shot by Thomas Shea. Says an off-duty undercover policeman, says on April 28, 1973. Damn, why this story ain't blow up more than that? Says Glover's death and Shea's later acquittal for murder, says for a murder charge led to riots in South Jamaica section of Queens, New York. Damn, that's foul as fuck. Says at 5 a.m. At 5 a.m. He broke in his kid house at 5 a.m. Says on April 28, 1973. 10-year-old Clifford says was shot when he decided to join his stepfather for some work on the weekend. Says on work on the weekend, says that the stepfather was stopped by two undercover officers, Thomas Shea and his partner, Walter Scott. Says the two officers believed the boy and his stepfather had just committed a robbery. Hey, what is a 10-year-old being out at 5 in the fucking morning, though? Says Glover and his stepfather says were afraid of the two officers and ran from them, says believing they were about to harm them. Man, come on, bro. What the Shea testified that he drew fire on the boy, says who appeared to have a weapon. Says Glover was hit by at least 2 bullets. When Glover was hit, the officers claimed his father took the alleged weapon from him, says which was never recovered. Says according to Scott, says the boy told him, "Fuck you," says you're not taking me. I don't know about all that shit. You can't trust the word of cops. But then again, it's like, what the hell is a 10-year-old doing out at 5 in the goddamn morning? And he says immediately following the shooting, says there were several days of riot in Jamaica Queens neighborhoods. Says at least 24 people, including 14 officers, were injured. Says in addition, 25 protesters were arrested. Says there was also smaller demonstrations accusing Shea of racism outside the courthouse during the trial. Says the day after Shea was acquitted, says hundreds of people began to riot. Says turning over cars, breaking windows, and stealing cash registers. One protester was arrested in the aftermath. Says and rioters injured 2 police officers. So the trial says was a jury of 11 whites, 1 black. Shea was acquitted. They did some shit. Says he's the first New York police officer ever to be tried for murder while on duty. Says Shea was declared not guilty on June 12, 1974. That's foul. And then what happened to the stepfather? Says cultural impacts and the acquittal, boom, boom. Says Thomas Shea featured, says, what is that, prominently in Power. Says a 1975 poem, a Caribbean American poet, Audrey Lorde, says an NYC Cops 2012 song by rapper Hims. But what the hell is a damn stepfather with this young ass boy at 5 in the goddamn morning? The hell? And then let me see, I read that comment. And he says, Sanaa says, CKY says was the band in the says in the band in the show of Bam Margera's brother. And Deshaun says, no, says, I sent you that because the lady made up a whole story, says during the interview. Yeah, them white ladies be lying. And that's even like that's how I lost one channel, because I made a video about the bra who lied on Emmett Till and shit. These fools gave me a strike over that shit. I was saying some ill shit though too. The same shit I be wanting to say about these people involved in Latasha Harlins shit. And then Ben says they did no weapon. Says they did no weapon. Says working with his dad. Man, who the fuck start working at 5 in the morning? And he ain't got no. Wait, did they get pulled over? Or they got out? Then why? I'm like, why you gotta run, man? Like, man, you gotta run from these fools. I be hating that shit. You gotta run from these goddamn cops. Like, damn. Or did they stop while they were walking? Were they out walking? Like, why you walking with a 10-year-old? And then you the step pops. It's crazy to me. Yeah, that's cold. A 10-year-old loses his life over that shit. And then they let the cop walk away. Let me see if there's a picture of this kid. Or if there's a picture of these cops. So that's back in 73. So a lot of people don't be talking about these kind of damn stories. Oh, let me go to Clifford Glover. What time is it? Let me get ready to get up off of this mug. And let me edit that shit out this video too. Let me see. Let me see if I find photos of Clifford Glover real quick. Oh, they do got photos of him. Let me see. Here we go. Let me see. This is a kid right here. Damn, I've seen this photo before. I've seen this photo of this kid before. Let me see. Y'all probably recognize this kid too. It's a 10-year-old slain in Queens. Says hunting 2 robbers. Says cops hunting 2 robbers. Says charged with murder. So that's cool. You got they try to bring him to trial, but then you deal with these scumbags on a goddamn jury. Says 50 years later, says street renamed in honor of the 10-year-old. So they got Clifford Glover Road. So this is young kid right here. Man, that's some cold-blooded shit. That's cold-blooded. The good thing, the people in this community still keep that story alive, still keep them alive. So the badge is not a license to murder children. It says 10-year-old shot in the back, says because he was black. There's some white folks with that one. Let me see. This must be the parents. Is this the parents? If that's the stepdad, this old man, ain't no way he was out there robbing no shit. He looked too damn old to be out there. But still, and then they probably poor. Who knows what they out there doing? This is 70s out there in Queens and shit. They been starved out the same way they did in all these inner cities, starving these people out. So these people out here hustling, who knows? But that's just, the dad should have been out there by himself, waking no damn 10-year-old up that damn early. All right, so this must be the white cop. So let me see. Oh, wait, no, that ain't the cop. Or is it? Or is this the white cop? That probably is him. Looking at him, profile the cop. Yeah, that cop did do that shit. Profile that cop. He definitely guilty. Can look at him. Look at his face. Pretty good at reading people. He definitely did that shit out of some old vicious, racist ass shit. All right, let me go back and check. Get ready to get up off of this mug. Yeah, that's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded shit. He says he probably started work at 6 a.m. Says that's why they were out at 5 a.m. Shit, what is a 10-year-old doing working though? That's the shit that get me. And he says they were undercover. Says they didn't know. They were cops. So that's why they ran. And then and the CJ says, didn't it say they were undercover? Says the son and father says we're probably scared. Yeah. You got a definite point on that. Says, or the cops were probably really up to no good. Yeah, that's true too. That undercover side of things could be very true. But then why is a fucking 10-year-old up at fucking 5 in the morning on the streets is crazy to me. The Go Young GJ says New York says they don't be having cars. Says it's probably was daylight was daylight at 5 a.m. Man, that's still early as hell for a little kid, man. Not justifying the murders and shit. No, it's April. So April 5 a.m. was what? What time would it begin? No, it should still be dark in April, almost going into May. No, it should still be dark around that time, I believe. But it's not. But like, I'm just tripping off him being out at 5 in the morning. But that doesn't justify the cops doing that shit. And then the fact that they aren't in uniform. So that's why it's important to pay attention to what you're reading, like y'all highlighting about them being undercover. So yeah, they could have been scared, or the cops acknowledge, that they're in their fucking uniforms and not in uniform and shit like that. And the bougie says, what year was that? This was 19. Hold on, let me go back to it. I think that was 1973. Hold on, 73. Yep, April 1973. It's cold-blooded shit. He said that was in so that was the 70s. So you got crooked cops throughout there. And cops probably was up to no good. Looking at that cop, he looked like one of the most no good NYPD scumbags and shit. So he probably was definitely out there pulling some shit. They probably was scared of him. I wonder what happened to that cop. That's the last thing I wanted to check. No, they ain't even got a story on these cops. And yeah, hopefully these cops' lives turn into shit. Hopefully their lives turn into shit. But yeah, that's cold-blooded to have done something like that. And then Ben Israel says Red says, you love 12. I don't hate cops, bro. I don't know where you get that shit from. Because a lot of you niggas who fake like you street cats, you act like you hate cops, but you kill people who's supposed to be like y'all. You kill others. You'll be quick to want to take the life of another street cat. But then when a cop pull you over, you bowing down to him and running from him like a coward rather than standing up to him like a man. So what's the thing? Like I said, I ain't got ill shit towards cops. I got shit towards corrupt ass cops. But all that shit thinking I'm from the actual hood, so I don't push bullshit that's been taught to other niggas in the hood. That dumb shit that keeps other niggas in the hood locked up behind bars. And that's the reason why I've been able to stay free, because I don't listen to what other motherfuckers who are uneducated teaching me about survival and code and politics and shit. I don't hate cops. Even if I was on some street shit, I wouldn't be on hatred of cops. Because real gangster motherfuckers I done known and been around and watch how they conduct themselves, they understand the rules of shit. They don't talk ill about shit about cops. Cops got a job. And to clean shit up, because they realize they out here creating a lot of shit that give these motherfuckers the jobs they have. And if it was really that much of F the cops and shit, then you should stand up to them. I watch cops all day punk the fuck out of people. All day, punk the fuck out of people. You can be with your whole gang. One cop show up, you niggas either gonna scatter like roaches with the lights on, or you gonna surrender peacefully. Simple as that. And then Go Young DJ says a lot of parents fail their kids, says letting them die, says and not getting street justice. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we got Ben in here talking about, I like the cops, but he hate them, but he don't do nothing to them. Like, stop it. And the Jashawn says paid leave, says another state, probably. Talking about that cop. Yeah, that cop went into hiding, probably definitely left out in New York. Or he could have went over to another precinct, being NYPD so damn large. But folks, that's all I got on this one. Me go ahead and get up out of here. But man, happy birthday, Latasha Harlins. Lady would have been 50 fucking years old, man. So cold-blooded, man. A lot of the history in these cities is so cold-blooded. Man, if the streets can talk and give the history of a lot of shit that's just lost and don't get talked about it. And this is the other thing I hate with our people too, is they always talking about what they always say, man, they don't speak on none of it. Always talking about what the white folks don't. So your retarded dumbass ain't got a fucking voice to speak on histories and fucking old stories that otherwise, if these people don't report on them and talk about them, y'all just let the shit disappear. Like, it's our jobs to tell our own stories and to keep these stories fresh within the mind, spirit, and everything of these people who are gone. Some of the ill shit, the condemned shit, and to wake people up to shit. That's why so much of this old shit happen. As much as things can go forward with change, we always get regress back to the old shit. You Trump voting motherfuckers. Dummies. But that's all I got, folks. I'm out of here. Peace. And F Donald Trump.